To that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 5:30, and I will call this regular meeting of the Burnsville City Council to order. It is our tradition to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we invite you to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see all of you here in the chambers this evening. Members of the public are always welcome to attend in person, and members of our public can also choose to watch the meeting at burnsvillemn.gov/meetings or on channel 16 or 859. The public can also participate through Zoom by joining us at zoom.us/join. More information is available on our meeting's webpage and in the council agenda packet. We have announcements this evening, and our announcements have to do with all of our upcoming meetings. Regular meetings are scheduled for Tuesday, January 20th at 5:30 p.m. and Monday, February 2nd at 5:30 p.m. is moved due to the caucus. So the Monday, February 2nd meeting is now moved to Tuesday?
It's moved to Monday because the caucus is on Tuesday, the 3rd.
Okay, so that's why February 2nd is a Monday, and we usually have meetings on Tuesday, but because of the caucus, it's moved to Monday. Okay, and the work session is scheduled for Tuesday, January 13th. At 5:30 p.m. All meetings of the council are held here in the council chambers unless I announce a different location. Also want to let everyone know that tonight, after tonight's meeting, the City Council will attend a holiday gathering at Clive's Roadhouse on Aldrich Avenue, and no official business will be conducted. So, we will move on, and the next item is citizens' comments, and this is the opportunity for anyone in the audience to address the council on an item that is not on the printed agenda and not an application form that will be coming before us at a future date. And we have two residents who have signed up to speak, and our first speaker is going to be Kati Gomez. And Kati, welcome, and name and address for the record.
Yes. Can you hear me from this angle, or should I be in closer?
Yeah, just pull up
Okay.
the mic so
All
that
right.
because you're...
Perfect.
Yeah.
I won't hunch over. My name is Catarina Gomez. I go by Kati Gomez, and my address is 11,000 London Drive in Burnsville. Hello, Madam Mayor and City Council members. I take great pride in being the second generation in my family to be born and raised here in Burnsville, Minnesota. My mother's father was an original settler of this land, and like many others in this room, he watched our community grow and remained committed to making this city a safer, more respectful place to live. Early on in my life, this Norwegian father of mine sparked my passion for civic engagement when he gifted me a copy of the Constitution and a set of Bill O'Reilly books. Please also hear me when I say that I am also the first-generation American. I'm the child of an immigrant from Honduras, and I remember when my sisters and I would help my father study for his citizenship exam when I was in the 2nd and the 3rd grade. He'd play a CD of American trivia while we drove around Burnsville, to and from school, church, soccer practice, the grocery store, swimming lessons. And it's safe to say that between my grandfather and my father, I learned about my right to due process under the law, my right to worship, to live with dignity. I learned that these aren't just values that we strive for, these are innate freedoms spelled out in the Constitution and instilled in us by the Creator. And I have been increasingly alarmed by the recent immigration enforcement activity in my neighborhood and the apathy of my neighbors, and am now calling on this body to defend these unalienable rights and liberties for all residents here in Burnsville, regardless of their nation of origin. There are 3 things I'd like you all to consider and strongly urge this body to clarify that federal immigration agents may not use city-owned parking lots, ramps, vacant properties, or parks, or those owned and operated by Burnsville Parks and Recreation as part of their staging and processing operations. It's integral that we maintain safe access for families to use public facilities to support their child's healthy growth and development. Second, I urge this body to join other cities and pass an ordinance to require all officers to display visible emblems or badges identifying their agencies while they are performing their enforcement duties only. The use of masks and the impersonation of law enforcement is a real threat to public safety, and it is something I am particularly worried about for my local leaders. And finally, I urge this city and the Burnsville Police Department to clarify and clearly communicate the role that Burnsville Police Department has played in all immigration efforts in this city. At the very least, please track how much you are spending on traffic control and crowd control, and share those reports and the warrants of those instances when the Burnsville Police Department is called to respond to an instance regarding ICE or Homeland Security investigations. Thank you for your time, and the last thing I will say is that even though my father received a perfect score on his citizenship exam and was naturalized in 2008, my family to this day continues to be questioned about our residency status here in Burnsville. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gomez, and thank you for coming and talking to us this evening. And know that we hear you, and we're taking your concerns into consideration. The next speaker is Ms. Andrea Grazzini.
Hi, all. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I think you can take, yeah, that'll be good. I know that you're dealing with some medical issues, but I think to speak so people can hear you, and nobody's around you to.
For sure, for sure. Thanks for letting me speak, and thanks for, it's a little hard to go after Kati because she knows our community, and particularly our immigrant community, much better than I do, of course.
Yeah, move the mic towards you so people at home can also hear you.
That said, I have many friends in our community that are immigrants. When my children were young, I spent a great deal of time at the YMCA, of course, and there I met many now friends, mostly of Somali or Latino heritage, and we got to know each other in very intimate and very neighborly ways, and these are good people, many good immigrant neighbors that we have out here. They're terrorizing, we're being terrorized, not only the immigrant community, but the rest of our citizens as well, to be quite frank. Obviously, we're much more concerned about our neighbors at risk and who are being targeted, whether or not they have criminal records or whether or not they are quote unquote legal or not. ICE is shutting down our community. If you don't care about the people in our community, you might care about the businesses in our community. I hope that you realize, and maybe you already do, that our immigrant neighbors are so afraid intimidated by ICE and so afraid to move out, even move from their homes. They didn't go Christmas shopping. If they were Latinos who love to celebrate, many of whom are Catholic and want to celebrate the Christian holiday, they didn't go out to buy Christmas dinner. They didn't dare. Again, these aren't criminals. They are afraid to go to work. If they go to work, they're afraid. They leave halfway through the day for fear that, if they see trucks that look like there might be ICE. tremendous fears around that. We have neighbors, many businesses in our community that are run by immigrants, as you all know. They are also having to totally change their businesses. One business, I'm not sure if I'll name that, but if any of you wants to know the name, I'm happy to provide it privately. I just don't want to put them at further risk. One of our businesses here, popular business, an immigrant business that with food we all love, is now locking their doors all day long because they're afraid to be raided by ICE, and they have been threatened by ICE. Another one of our neighbors also shut down their business after a raid was done. Turns out that the raid recovered or detained a target that was not illegal whatsoever. Another business, I understand, this is hearsay, but I do understand as of this afternoon that a very popular, very large immigrant business has been closed for 3 days all because of ICE. It's not only our immigrant neighbors, it's also people like me who want to observe and document what's going on. We're not interested in protesting. We're not interested in making things difficult for law enforcement. We're interested in seeing what's going on and making sure that we've got documentation in case there's anything wrong or illegal, for that matter, going on. We don't approach law enforcement, and we don't approach our neighbors unless they ask us to. Of course, law enforcement doesn't ask us to, but some of our neighbors do. ICE is intimidating groups like ours as well. At Vista View, there was a warrant for arrest, perfectly legal warrant for arrest in that neighborhood on December 10th. There was an arrest made, however, it wasn't for the person they had a warrant for. They were opportunistic and found somebody else to arrest. They did not arrest the person with the warrant. At that place, we had probably 10 to 15 observers trying to keep track of, keeping track of what we're now learning is becoming a norm in our community. And after ICE left, there was 30 to 40 ICE agents for a warrant for one arrest that was not made. That's kind of on the aside. And yet, after they all left, a few of us were standing around at the very side of the road, not in anybody's yard, and certainly not in the middle of the road, but just, kind of debriefing on something we've never known in Burnsville. Many of us longtime citizens. This is not what we have seen in our community ever. As we were having that discussion, 5 to 6 ICE vehicles, which we have on videotape, came roaring through the neighborhood. This was at bus stop let off time, roaring through semi-close to us, and then just drove out of the neighborhood back onto Burnsville Parkway. So it seemed to us that that was an intimidation tactic. On Connolly on 11, I'm sure you all have heard what happened there the other day. In that case, ICE was we had about less than 12 to 15 people there observing. The Burnsville police were building a perimeter around ICE that was about 50 yards from ICE. Our people were about another 50, so about 100 yards from ICE. They were not at all threatening or at all getting in the way, and they were very spread out. They weren't clumped together or anything like that. ICE came towards them when they were done with their business there, came towards our observers pointing pepper spray at them, although we had been peaceful throughout, with the exception of some folks do blow whistles to warn our neighbors who might be fearful and want to know if there's ICE in their neighborhood. About half people were blowing whistles, but that's not a big deal. And the rest of the people were simply spread out, and ICE pointed pepper spray at them. They then tried to corral some of them into what is known as a kettle to kind of block them in. And during that time, a number of ICE officers were playing with their belts and pretending like they were grabbing for their guns. Now, both of those could be construed as unwarranted, it's not use of force, could possibly even be construed as brandishing. That's intimidation tactics that are absolutely unnecessary. This is hurting our community in emotional and civic ways and our civic vitality. I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, 40% of our community is immigrant people. If that's the case, it's hurting us bad. I'm asking you exactly what Kati asked you. we have noticed a number of times that ICE is staging on Burnsville property in the parks, and we don't know if they might want to go after Burnsville properties that are, for example, empty lots and so on. But they stand there, they stay there until they're ready to go out, usually until they see us, casually drive by. Again, we don't approach them, we don't follow them, we don't do anything other than observe. So I'm asking that happen. That's not hard to do, guys. I'm also asking that our law enforcement and our city staff treat our immigrants with extra earnest care at this time. I understand that you all have jobs and that you serve different constituents that may not agree with what I think. Nonetheless, these are people. If we're humans and we care about humans, we need to give them extra care right now because they are flippin' terrorized. And patience. Finally, this may be a stretch, but I'd like to see our city be more bold in how we speak out and support our immigrant neighbors. One way you can do that is you can do a lot. You can develop signage for apartment buildings and businesses that helps defray some of the cost of warning people that of their rights, or letting them know rather of their rights. Those can be posted on behalf of our city, showing how we care about all of our neighbors. Obviously, just the legal things that people should be aware of. Something like that could be done and needs to be done in multiple languages: Spanish, Somali, Arabic, and others of targeted communities in our neighborhoods. And I'd also would be nice if we further provided that kind of information for our citizens on your website, in your parks, wherever we can provide those. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Grazzini, and we hear you, and I am seeing our city manager taking lots of notes right now, and so we have all of the information, and we also have it on tape. So thank you so much for coming in this evening. Please, I don't have you signed in, but absolutely, you have the floor.
Mayor.
And give us your name and address for the
David
record,
Young.
please.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Had to take my hearing aids out. David Young, 1401 Muir Lane here in Burnsville. I certainly second what Ms. Grazzini and Kati had to say. Those are part of my requests. And I apologize, I got here late because I've been out on the streets comforting and trying to help the people that are being terrorized. They're very frightened. So not having a prepared talk and agreeing with what has been said, I am going to say that I would like to see you, our elected leadership in this city, out in the streets helping these people. There's many things that you could do that are certainly non-political, one of them being we have Lavina distributing food to people because they're afraid to come out of their homes. And possibly finding something, some way to get our children to school, because many of our migrant or our minority population are afraid to send their children to school. So I hope to see you on the streets.
Thank you for coming in, and I can tell you that I am doing my job, and also interacting with our faith community and others. So being there to console.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
And
I will
I didn't
continue.
mean to be impertinent because I don't know how you lead your lives, but I've been very busy. So I'm sure you are too.
Well, thank you for the work that all of you are doing to help keep our community safe and to show compassion and mercy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, please. Councilmember Schultz.
So for clarity, and there's one question that I think could be cleared up, actually two. I know that Burnsville has already put out a policy
Statement.
on what our police are able to do and not able to do regarding immigration enforcement. So I'll give you a few minutes because I'm going to ask if we can have that up. So Jared, hop on it. The second thing that we can clear up is whether we have a policy in place or not on if immigration enforcement is able to stage on city property.
Okay.
So that is my question.
City Manager Lindberg.
I don't have the ability currently to pull that up, at least directly for folks at home. So I apologize for that. But yes, the city did in December make a public statement about our role and responsibility when it comes to federal immigration enforcement action. We do also have a landing page for the community with some frequently asked questions and links to the city statement. If you go to our website, you can just search immigration resources. There's a link on the main page of the website as well. So those statements and that information is there. Generally speaking, what the city has said to this point in time is that our local police department do not enforce federal immigration law or participate in federal immigration enforcement activity. The city is typically not notified by federal agencies of their actions or activity in the community, and that's remained true through today. Our police officers do enforce state and local laws. Our officers do not, by way of department policy or city policy, check someone's immigration status ever in our operations. It's just not part of what we do. Our role is to keep everyone safe, and public safety and local public safety will always be our focus. Again, we'll make sure that those links to the statement and the city landing page and immigration resources are repeated and available for people. Councilmember Schultz, to your second question, the city does not currently have, the council does not currently have, the city does not currently have a policy related to the use of city-owned properties for the purposes of other law enforcement agencies staging or those types of activities. I'm not aware that we have or that we've been requested. I would be surprised if we were ever requested for that type of action, but there's no related policy to date.
Councilmember Schultz, you can request to put that on roundtable for next week.
I could, or I could make a motion tonight. So I would like to make a motion tonight that that council directs city staff to draft a policy regarding ICE or DHS or associated agencies being able to stage on city-owned property, that then be brought back to council for an adoption and a vote. Do I have a second on this motion?
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And nay? You have the vote. So we have that done for tonight, and then we will, staff will bring back a policy for our review. And then we will have it probably on the 20th for adoption. Okay. So, yeah. So we will do that, and we will continue to work with you. And I can tell you this, if you have any questions or any concerns, please contact our city manager. And he's willing, and he and I have had this discussion. Contact us. But if you want to know what our police officers are going to do, our city manager and police chief are happy to talk and to help our residents understand what we can and cannot do. And I can tell you that I am reaching out to Congresswoman Angie Craig, because a lot of this has to do with the federal government. And so I will be meeting with her on this particular issue as well. So we'll continue to work together on all of this. And together We'll be okay. It's rough right now for all of us. It's rough. It's not only for each and every one of us, but also for our staff. They're caught between a rock and a hard place. So let's all make sure that we have some compassion and mercy and kindness for one another as we do our work together. Thank you. Okay, with that, we will move on. The next is additions to the final agenda, and this is for emergency items only. City Manager Lindberg, are there any emergency items to come before the council?
Nothing from staff, Mayor.
Members of the council?
No.
Thank you. The next is the consent agenda. Consent agenda is a group of items that's considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. However, an item on the consent agenda can be removed for a separate discussion and vote. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes an item on the consent agenda to be pulled for a separate discussion and vote? Mrs. Collins, anyone online?
No one online, ma'am.
Mr. Lindberg,
Nothing from staff, Mayor.
members of the council,
No.
may I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay, and the motion carries. Members of the council and the community, we have no other items to come before us this evening, and a motion to adjourn is in order.
Moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay, and the motion carries. Happy New Year, and thank you for being with us this evening.